Thank you for joining us at Books as Bad as Twilight podcast. This podcast will discuss books that may or may not be as bad as the popular series Twilight. As can be expected, we will discuss the books in detail, so spoiler alert.
We highly suggest you read the book beforehand or read along with us. You can use the link in our show notes to purchase the current book we're reading. Also in our show notes are links to the Books as Bad as Twilight website and all of our social media pages. Quick shout out to our image designer, Katie Hartung. Her website is listed in our show notes at khartgraphics.com. KHART graphics.com.
Music at the beginning of the show provided by Gabe Miller Music. You can find him on YouTube, SoundCloud, and his website, GabeMillerMusic.com.
He becomes a prince, so he's still a beast. So you know how like
so
she
this
goes
is like a sub story, like
yes. Inside within the bigger story of Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
So while she's
was
in
there ever any? But see, the thing is that there was never a hint of that in the movie.
Exactly.
So,
but this is Disney approved.
Yeah, this is a Disney.
Jennifer Donnelly writes for Disney.
Well, she doesn't, but this is definitely a Disney book. Like, Disney, I'm sure, did a lot of the plotting.
It's like people go, oh, I wonder what Belle did while she was in the castle.
She fucking read.
This is what she did.
And, probably sang.
She's a bookworm, isn't she?
Yeah.
But we were just talking. We never see her read in this book, at least so far.
Do you notice that?
Did you?
She hasn't read at all in this book.
Yes, she did.
No, she
What
talks
did she
about
read?
reading.
Well, then how did she get lost in the book?
She actually steps into it.
It's a portal.
When she touched it, it grows in size. When she touches the book, it grows in size, and it becomes like...
Oh my god.
Like
it's a door.
Yeah, it becomes a door. She can just step into it. It's like shimmery surface.
Sorry,
but every time...
She touched it and it grew.
And she goes inside.
Well, no, but yeah, then that's
yeah, but now I'm thinking of a very creepy Spanish movie about the guy who goes into the girl's vagina.
Oh, Teeth.
No, that's not a. First, it's not a Spanish movie, but that's a great movie too.
Okay, I saw the beginning of Teeth. And
she and her, or her and she, or just her, her. That's the movie of the Spanish. That's the name of the Spanish movie, and it's creepy as fuck. This woman falls into a coma, and this guy who works at the hospital is obsessed with her. And in the end, he I think it's a dream, but it's really creepy. He pretends. Well, the movie shows him becoming smaller size, and then it's he's walking into her vagina. It's really weird.
Sounds like an episode of Magic School Bus.
But really, what happens?
What Magic School Bus are you watching?
The one where they go into the body. You've never seen that?
This goes through the vagina, and he dives in, and you can see his feet still wiggling.
That is so gross.
And they make it really but in reality, he's basically raping an unconscious woman in a coma, and then she gets pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah.
But if he crawls in, his sperm is going to be ultra
He doesn't
small.
actually, no. The movie shows a montage, of him, crawling in, but that's, how he is viewing what he's doing. But in reality, he's literally raping her.
Wow.
Wow.
It's
a really creepy movie. That is not what I thought it was going to be when I started watching it.
I feel like
it's it's one of those independent...
It's Sleeping
weird
Beauty.
Foreign film, pretty much.
It's literally what they gloss over on Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually,
Not in the other Sleeping
in the original
Beauty.
one, she did get pregnant. And that's...
She gave birth while she was in her coma.
Yeah. But, it's oh, can I just kiss this fucking...
Why does Disney always ruin everything by glossing everything over?
I don't know.
Ugh. I'm sorry, are we recording this?
Yes. Everything has just been recorded.
No way.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So anyways.
All these princesses get raped.
Oh.
And look at Jasmine. She's got Jafar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Jafar
is
creepy.
You know he raped her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did Esmeralda and that guy.
Also, all these princesses are really, really young.
He was
He was like some
a cardinal or something.
Yeah. All these princesses are young. I think Belle is the oldest one at 20 something or 20. She's 20, I think. Yeah. All the other princesses are super, super young, right? 15, 16, 17.
Well, I definitely know Little Mermaid, Ariel's 16.
And so is I think Sleeping Beauty. I think she's 16. Yeah.
Their ages.
I'm 16 years old. I'm not a child. That's what she said. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She is a child.
All right. Hey, everyone.
Is this going like on the behind the scenes footage or something?
When we get a Patreon.
What's that line?
Oh, it's our TV's messed up. It's the TV. Welcome everyone to the Books as Bad as Twilight podcast. As you heard, we have some guests with us today, but first, my name is Danielle.
And I'm Brittany.
And our guests are once again Tatyana.
Tatyana. I thought we discussed this in the previous episode.
We did.
Anyway, Tatyana.
And
Chris.
Can you hear
Welcome, Chris? I can hear you, yes.
Oh, good.
Okay. I usually mumble quite well.
This microphone picks up well.
It's the mustache.
It is. He mumbles through the mustache.
The mustache filters my voice, and therefore it's kind of like a voice modulator turned up way too high.
Well, it just comes out pure gold then. Filters it. Purifies.
There you go.
Whoa.
I have a husband. Calm down.
I don't even think she was talking about that. I think she was his voice, there's no gold in his voice.
Oh, baby.
It's more kind of raspy titanium.
Raspy titanium. I thought you weren't supposed to, like, assign actual metals to these things.
What?
No, I was telling her earlier about, like, when I write stuff down, I can't refer to something like, oh, this is gold, this is aluminum. I have to say that, this is, or steel. This is a white metal fork. Because
he doesn't know the composition. That's up to the left of the side.
I see.
Let's not give away too many secrets.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Forget you heard that.
What are we reading, people?
Oh, well, today we are reading. Oh, look at Tatyana keeping us in check. Yes. We're reading Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly. We're discussing chapters 30 through 34 today. So, spoiler warning, up to chapter 35. So you have to read all of chapter 34. Stop at 35.
I didn't stop. I just finished the book.
I know you did. And
So
I can't believe you read it. I mean, I know it's a fast read, but still, I was very surprised when you texted me and you're like, I'm done.
Next day.
You texted me, I'm like, but she finished the whole thing? Like, I'm confused. Or did she just finish the part she was supposed to read? But no, the whole thing.
I had a long lunch.
All right.
I read quickly. What can I say?
That's a good thing.
And it wasn't very complicated.
No, not
this
complicated.
It's not a complex work of literature.
No, it's not. So if you like the show, please consider giving us a 5-star rating on iTunes. It would make us smile, make our day. And if you want to find more episodes, you can find us at iTunes.
What? Sorry, no, continue.
What is happening?
Nothing. Just continue.
Okay. I thought I heard Gryffindor. I'm wondering if, like, Potterotica is happening here. That's what I thought.
Yeah. So find us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and our website, BaBaTpodcast.com or BaBaT podcast.com.
All right. Let us begin with chapter 30, one-sentence summary.
Oh, God. Boys make you forget about your friends.
Oh, so true. So true. All right. Here we go into the discussion. So,
boys make you forget about your friends.
Yep, yes. That's the one-sentence summary for this chapter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So.
That's Voldemort, yes. Yes, Chris?
Nothing, I just wasn't quite expecting.
All right, so Henry arrived last chapter.
Yes.
Yes, so he says hello to everyone and introduces himself to the professor.
Who's helping them plan their trip to Rome and all those other places.
Yeah. And then, do you remember this?
Yes.
Is it all coming back to you? Yeah.
It's coming back to me now.
Yeah. So, The Countess reveals that Henry, too, is a scholar studying economics and science at Sorbonne. Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
Okay. Sorbonne, and Belle is turned on by it. She's like, ooh, yeah, this is great.
An educated man. Although Beast is educated, he's back at the castle transcribing things. I don't know how, because he has
pause,
but, you know, he's writing shit down.
He's got an opposable paw.
Exactly, there you go.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
I'm sure he does.
But what is he translating?
Who knows?
Plays.
The
fairy
Why?
queen. I don't know. I'm just trying to reference things that were in this book.
Yeah. So when asked if he is hungry, Henry says no due to his clothes being dusty from traveling. So they decide to go outside for a walk in the Countess's prize pear trees.
Her orchard,
yes. And so they go out there, and like Henry tells Belle she's looking fine today. She's like, oh, thank you.
I like their banter. It's cute. Do you not?
I don't have an opinion on it, honestly.
They're very sarcastic with one another. This replaces the conversation before being the most realistic, because they're joking and they're like, you're an awful person. He's like, oh, I am. Like, just, it's cutesy, flirty stuff, which I like.
Yeah. She like tells him he's very clever. Then he's like, oh, well, I wish I wasn't like, or I'm always hanging out with clever people, but I hate hanging out with clever people.
Yeah.
Because all they do is go to parties and.
Yeah, that one was a little drawn out. Like,
just like, okay.
It was a little weird. And it's like, I hate hanging out with intellectual people because I can't be myself.
Right.
So,
makes
okay.
sense at all.
That's kind of throwing Belle under the
It's like,
under the bus.
Yeah, but he said that he could be real with her.
Yeah.
He felt like
talk about his estate and the people.
Which sounds a lot more boring than being clever and stuff. But, you know, hey, whatever. So Belle explains they're planning a trip to Italy, and Belle kind of explains to Henry what's going on in her actual life. And Henry is like, oh, no, you don't have to go on. It's okay. Everything's fine. And so she really is happy like that he at least heard her out.
He makes fun of her, though.
I know, because, yeah, exactly. She says that, but then he starts teasing her. And you could tell she's hurt by it, because he starts saying, like, his chamber pot talks to him.
Yeah, he's like, I have the same problems in my enchanted castle, except my chamber pot talks all night long. It dances, too, often when I'm trying to use it. Very inconvenient, let me tell you.
Ugh.
Like,
yeah,
she's, like, realistic. She's in the... not realistically, this is a fantasy, but she's trapped, prisoner, in a castle, and she's trying to tell this man who she's confiding in she's sad. And he's like, oh yeah, well, my toilet talks. Like, that's rude.
Yeah.
And just making a joke of it.
Well, maybe he's trying to cheer her up.
That's not a good way to do it.
I don't remember. So Belle's toilet talks to her?
No. It doesn't. Only certain things in the castle talk to Belle.
Though, one does wonder.
Yeah, we don't... Actually, they never clarified it. It's
they never
very
really
possible.
show her using the restroom, so for all we know, they
girls
probably does.
Girls don't use the restroom.
We don't?
No, girls don't poop.
But you can pee. That's still bathroom worthy. I mean, some people use the shower, but the rest of us...
Wow.
What?
That was a good reference.
That was a shade. That was just a reference. But, you know, she probably goes to the bathroom a few times. All that drinking.
They would have outhouses. They wouldn't have chamber pots, would they?
It's a castle. They would have chamber pots.
Yes. Because, one, you shouldn't have to force somebody to walk down the hall to get to the bathroom or outside. And two, you've got slaves or servants to come by. Slaves, sorry.
Indentured servants.
And in this case, you don't even need the servant because the chamber pot would just go itself and, you know, empty itself out. I don't know if it would talk, but it certainly would just,
Sorry, I'm kind of imagining a talking chamber pot being in the spirit of Quagmire.
But if it's talking, then wouldn't your pee come out of its mouth every time you open it?
Oh no! Yeah, I don't. Okay. The Quagmire reference.
No,
with the pee coming out of the mouth.
Both of them.
Wait a minute.
Ew!
Actually, wait. Wasn't there? Now you're talking Trump stuff.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah, okay,
Hold on.
It's all good.
What?
It's okay. I'm done. I'm gonna edit this photo.
What is going on?
That's for a political podcast.
Listen, I'm sure the chamber pot is animated. We don't know if it talks because it probably doesn't want to open its mouth when it's full. Because then someone's gonna have to clean it up.
The mop will come in. They're not happy.
No,
it's
they're
all
not
over the
happy.
floor.
And now they can talk about how unhappy they are. So does chamber pot want to deal with the drama?
No,
Probably not.
he'll just keep his mouth shut.
That's what I'm saying. Oh man, I'm done.
Still a better story.
It's still a better story than Twilight.
I was gonna say this, but yeah, then Twilight.
Oh God.
Geez, well.
All right.
So.
Also, with Henry, back to Henry.
Yeah.
There's a line he says, "I think you, as my friend Belle," Henry said, "and I hope you consider me yours. And friends are there for each other no matter what, good or bad." This is the second time they're talking.
Right.
This is the second time they're hanging out. That's a little obsessive. If I had someone come up to me like, "I'm your best friend, and I hope you can confide in me every little detail of your life," I'd very much appreciate it.
The second time I talked to, I felt like we were friends already.
Yeah, but not like that.
But I wasn't telling you all my deepest. I wasn't telling you I was peeing in showers.
They took obviously quite some time.
Wow.
But I think in general, it depends. If they are having these discussions, then maybe he feels like, okay, well, we're confining to each other, so maybe we are friends. He's not saying like, oh, I feel like you're going to be my wife. He's just saying, I think of you as a friend. I don't think there's anything wrong with what he says.
But just the way he says it, like we're friends. Like, it's like almost like he's saying like, we're friends, right? Like, right? And we're there for each other, right?
His job. He was literally, his job is to
be
friends.
Okay, but why didn't Belle pick up on that?
Yeah.
Because she's dumb as fuck in this book.
How
about everyone pushing her to eat some shit?
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry, but I don't know how hungry I am, and I love food. If I'm out with somebody and they're like, here, have this. Why don't you have this? Here, this is the most delicious thing ever. Have this. At some point, I'll be like, you know what? Like, why are you up in my beeswax? I will eat when I want to. Like, it would make me suspicious. Like, it would make me wonder, like, what's in here? Why are you pushing me?
Yeah.
Everyone in this book, especially the countess, is pushing her to eat, and she's just oblivious. And the whole pear thing that we're gonna get to, that was too much.
I know.
She got warned. It was discussed, and that bitch still bit into that pear.
She ate the whole thing.
She ate the whole fucking thing. And I read that, and I'm like, you're a dumb bitch. You deserve to stay in this camera. I'm sorry.
You had a beetle tell you. You had a spider tell you.
They're pushing this pear on you, and you basically said, no, I'm good. Like, thanks.
No, you
and
have
then
to
you
eat
still fucking ate that pear. I can't.
Yeah,
I read that, and I was just like,
dumb bitch.
Dumb bitch.
Yeah, she's pretty dumb.
Oh, but anyway, they're running through this orchard of pears, and they lose the countess and the professor, so it's just Henry and Belle.
Yes.
And then Henry gets away from her, and it's just Belle running around.
By the way, this isn't like a maze.
No.
It's an orchard.
Right.
Which is in
Trees.
rows.
It's not like it's super leafy. They're trees that have, long
branches.
No, I was gonna say what's the trunks. It's not like you can lose a bunch of people in it.
Well, she even says at one point that she can see through, and she sees like somebody's jacket. So she sees them like right on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So
she just can't get to them.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm right here. Like, why can't she shout out before she meets love? Yeah, just she's a dum-dum. So she's by herself. She sees a woman with a basket, dressed in white, which is Love, or who is Love. And she has a straw hat on, which I thought was an interesting detail. And she's holding scissors.
Why'd you think it was an interesting detail?
Because it wasn't
a straw
needed.
hat, like, just picture, like, I picture her as like a hillbilly almost, like with a white dress on. Like,
Maybe
what would you...
they meant like straw hat, like you would have if
At
it's
the Derby.
really, yeah, like if it's really bright outside, you want to have the hat that.
Oh,
covers you.
yeah, that's true.
It's like one of those like really cool
A
ones.
sun hat versus
yeah,
a straw
sun
hat.
hat. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. So she's holding scissors, and then she turns to Belle, and Belle's like, "Oh my God, it's the Mad Woman." End of chapter.
But it did not entice me to read further.
yeah, didn't hit me neither.
But yeah, all this time you realize that there's a boy around, and she's forgetting about Chip. And she's supposed to keep track of how much time she's been spending in Nevermore so she could get back to his birthday party.
Right?
She
Yeah.
didn't have a watch. That's unfortunate.
That is
She could have brought
unfortunate.
Cogsworth, but I guess that would, be beside the
Oh my
point.
God, I wouldn't bring Clockworth with me anywhere.
Isn't he, like, boring
He
in
is
this?
so annoying.
Yes.
He's the most annoying thing you can bring with you anywhere.
That's why. Well, we talked about that.
We
little
had a
bit.
huge discussion last 2 episodes of how much we hate the character development of Cogsworth in this.
Well, why? It's pretty well developed. He's just probably not somebody you want to take with you to a fancy new place.
No,
He's
but
not
he's
developed the way we wanted him to be developed.
Well, sorry.
Well, not even that, because you're right, but at the same time, like, he's not developed. He just says random shit. Like, he's not developed. Like,
Battling in Quebec.
yeah, like, I did this battle, I did this. Okay. Like, we don't know him. Like, we know nothing about him other than he's really boring, and people are very mean-spirited about it all. They just roll their eyes. Like, Belle rolls her eyes all the time at him. I'm like, bitch.
He's a vet. Leave him alone.
Yeah, he's a vet.
Just say thank you.
Yeah, just say thank
Thank
you.
you for your service.
Right.
The problem is that it's not like she can just thank him for his service, because then he'll just start talking about his service. And he just won't stop, apparently.
No,
Funny.
yeah, he doesn't. All right. Is that it for chapter 30?
Yeah, chapter 30, so she was running around in an orchard.
Got lost somehow.
Got lost.
Essentially, yeah. All right, chapter 31. In order to convince someone you're not crazy, tackle them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, everyone's looking for Belle. Belle's in front of Love. And Love tackles her. Like, she's like, it's the crazy woman. And she's holding shears.
does she tackle her?
Yeah, she tackles her. Does she tackle her?
Can we read that
Yeah.
passage?
Hold on. She lunged at Belle.
Okay.
So, that I assumed it was tackle.
I like tackle better, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so
She didn't tackle her because she didn't even.
she lunged at her.
She just moved quickly.
Yeah.
She
So,
moved very
I
quickly.
And
say-
grasped her hand.
I'm saying she tackled her. Well, she was found on the ground.
Was she?
No, she wasn't.
I thought she was on the ground.
No, all she did was grab her hand and put the scissors into them and close her fingers over it.
Oh.
Well, you don't run with scissors.
You lunge, apparently.
Lunge.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's
They're tiny scissors, baby.
Yeah, they're very tiny.
nobody ever said. There's nothing that says don't run with big scissors. It just says don't run. With
That's very true.
So, she has a basket, the mad woman in quotes, and in the basket where she put the pears, Belle actually sees pomegranates, and so Belle recalls that they are
Well, she
the food
doesn't
of
just
the dead.
see them. The lady points it out.
That's
Look,
true. She
child.
points
Says,
it out.
look
Yeah,
at them, basically.
that's true. And so Belle recalls that they are the food of the dead. Hades had tricked. I'm not going to pronounce this right.
Stupid bitch. Still
Persephone.
gonna eat them later.
I know.
Persephone.
Persephone into eating them.
I can't read.
I think we should just call her Persephone. Is that what you
Persephone.
Persephone?
Absolutely not.
I want to.
Persephone. Philosophy.
Persephone.
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 So she recalls Hades tricking Persephone.
Persephone.
Into eating them.
Another clue about the eating.
Ugh.
And
And
being tricked into eating.
And she knows. Belle thinks of this herself. It's not like Love tells her.
Mm-hmm.
She knows this reference.
Hades tricked Persephone into eating them, but that's okay because you being pushed into eating something at all sides, that's okay.
Sides.
There's no reason to wonder why I'm being talked into eating.
Like peer pressure.
Peer pressure.
Yeah. That happens
The
a lot.
sandwiches, the tea cakes, the Beatles that said don't eat anything. And
Does it make you wonder why the Beatles are talking about not eating anything? Like, they're not saying, this isn't like a real world. You really should go home. Don't believe anything anyone's saying. No, they basically fucking said, don't eat shit.
Mm-hmm.
They did. Twice. They
Yeah,
said
twice.
it twice.
She's still gonna eat that.
Yes, she is.
Damn pair.
Yep. So the mad woman, or Love, hands Belle the scissors, tells her to keep them and put them in her pocket. And Belle does as she's told. And
This is the shortest chapter.
oh yeah, it's
in the
really
world.
short.
It's very short.
And then the mad woman slowly disappears through the trees, looking sad. I just picture her like kind of backing up very slowly.
How does she disappear through these trees? Has anyone ever seen an orchard? That's not how it works. That's not how it works.
In this world, it does.
I like how like there's all this imagery of
This
Belle.
isn't a cornfield.
That's very true. It's
Yeah.
very easy to get lost in the
It's not a wheat
cornfield.
field. It's an orchard.
They're trunks.
Sorry, wait, so what's the problem with an orchard?
People keep
You
disappearing in them.
Like, you can't back away and all of a sudden you're not, you can't see. Like, other people can't see you. It's
Yeah,
an orchard.
You have to
It's
go
like-
like
So you, are you
30
so
yards.
you're saying that because all the trees are in a row?
yeah.
So it's all about perspective. If you shift yourself over this way, all of a sudden now everything's like lined up in a way that all you see are trees.
Right, but then you can just move and see them again.
Why in the hell would you move? First off, this is complete fantasy. So suspend your disbelief and just figure like you disappeared inside of this magic orchard.
No.
No, because okay,
I
see,
refuse to do that.
if the book was smart, it would say like, and then she faded away or something, like something at least to explain it. It might not.
She did. It says, like, the morning mist.
She disappeared.
She disappeared through the trees like the morning mist.
Well, like the morning mist. That's a simile. It's not saying she did. It's just saying like the morning mist, she disappeared.
Do people evaporate in this one?
Well, I guess we can assume so.
But also, every person Belle meets, she talks about their eyes
Yeah.
and how heart-wrenchingly sad they are.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
Because everyone's there at the bequest of the countess against their will, basically.
are they?
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, no. No.
My theory was right!
I'm so sorry. This is what happens when you give me a stupid book and I just don't know when to stop. I read the whole thing and then I spoil it for everybody else.
I'm so happy. Yes, let's
Damn
finish
it.
this book
Can we
already.
just backtrack.
Backtrack, yeah.
How do you keep yourself from not reading forward?
Because I have a life. No, joking.
I have a life. It took me like 3 hours to
I'm
read this thing.
joking.
And I have better things to do. This way I finished and I was able to move on to something more interesting.
What? This is wonderful. I'm having a great time just watching
Listening to
and
it.
listening.
Like, I couldn't
See,
stop. It's not
yeah.
like I was even paying attention.
See, I'm surprised because when I was reading it, like every time a chapter ended, I was like, okay, should I keep reading? I guess I will. Like, I never felt like I kept wanting to read. Because
All right, this is what an orchard looks like. I just want to make sure everyone's on the same,
Yeah.
Okay, there's no way to lose someone.
Maybe she went behind a
unless you're,
tree.
like a fucking mile away.
maybe she went behind a tree or
Shut up.
something.
It's like she looked at Belle one last time, her heart-wrenching sadness in her eyes, then she turned and ran and disappeared through the trees. What is she? Usain Bolt?
Maybe.
That's why I was wondering if they evaporate in this world.
It's never explained, so if it's not explained, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't
All right.
count.
Chapter 32. Everyone finds Belle in the orchard. They suddenly find her, just as Love got away. How convenient.
Mm-hmm.
And Belle is surprised at herself for not telling them about the mad woman.
That's
I
my
I
story.
heard that on the mic.
My God.
Please put that in.
Did you guys just come from brunch?
Do you guys have a parakeet?
Damn it.
That was so good.
Oh, it's not my fault. It's just my body. I have no control over this thing. It just does whatever it
Oh my
wants.
god.
Oh,
Right, baby?
right, baby.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right. Oh, okay. So, Belle does not tell them about the mad woman due to the sadness in her eyes, which makes me wonder, does Belle excuse everybody with sad eyes?
I guess so.
Like, and I know why they're, like, there's this big emphasis. Okay, again, the original movie, they emphasized the beast's eyes in the 1991 animated movie so that you'll see the resemblance. So Belle looks into his eyes, she sees his blue eyes. When he transforms, she doesn't recognize him, and he says, Belle, it's me, and she keeps looking at him, and what she notices, what gets her to realize it's him, is his eyes. It's not like a looking into his heart.
She's talking about the original movie.
In the original movie, like, she looks into his eye. What? Oh,
her tummy
I keep hearing things, and I can't tell, so that's...
It's all me! It's all me. It wants to participate.
So funny.
But yeah, like, it's referring to, like, Belle.
Was that your stomach too?
Yes.
That's a strange stomach noise.
Pew, pew.
So, what I was saying was that in the 1991 movie, she looks into his eyes because that's helped her recognize him when he transforms.
God, she's got really, really bad memory.
Well, he looks different when he transforms. He's a human.
Yeah.
So she's kind of freaked out by it, but then when she looks at him, what gets her is his eyes.
Oh, really? She couldn't tell that it was the Beast because she was watching the Beast, and then
it's an artistic choice. I agree, though. It's a little
turned into a man, and she's like, "Oh,
yeah,
I don't know who you are."
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
You know, I'll admit there are faults in that movie, but you know, it's better than this. That's all I can say. So, the basket is still there, which makes me wonder, like, everybody sees the basket and nobody questions, like, where did this basket come from? Who left this here? Like, unless they said they had baskets, I don't know. But then Belle looks back and she sees pears, not pomegranates. Can somebody explain to me the logic of that? Like, maybe she would still see pomegranates, but they don't. Like, why can she no longer see?
Because see the pomegranates?
Because love's not there anymore?
Yes. This is Death's world. You know, love doesn't have a place in here, and that's why she has to run away. So in that minute moment when she could show Belle the truth, she is, which is the pomegranate. Because I think they referenced it before when Belle's like, how can you do all of this? And Death talks about the magic of the castle.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And she's like, we are closer to the castle. So, oh, that comes a little later.
Yeah,
I think that's in the next chapter or two.
Yeah.
But the magic of the castle is able to help create this world and sustain it. So when love comes in, she's like, it's all a lie. They're pomegranates. Like, she can influence the world just a little bit. Which
it just says mad woman. It doesn't say old woman.
Did I say old woman? I'm sorry. Mad woman. Oh.
I thought you implied.
I liked her impression.
No, that's my impression of love.
Don't eat the pomegranates.
I mean, love can be ugly.
It's very ugly.
Oh, it makes me think of the queen from Snow White when she transforms into the old woman.
That's yeah.
But not really. But still, you know. Have a pear. That's Death.
Have a pear. Have a pear.
Yeah, that actually would be Death. So anyway, so Belle thinks she's losing her mind because she sees, you know, the pomegranates are pears again. So then Belle, your favorite part, Tatyana, Belle takes a pear, knowing full well about the recent warning she had received from those creatures. She knows she ate some things, but knows that she didn't leave anything. Due to her logic, she decides that this notion is BS. So everyone continues to peer pressure her to eat the pear, and so finally she does.
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
When everyone's literally pushing her to eat it, when everyone in the group is like, eat it, Belle. It's delicious. Eat it.
It's like doing ecstasy together.
Look, it drives me crazy because are you right? You know what? You're right. What? Peer pressure is for real. It's just, I guess I don't respond to it the same way. I would just be like, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't want this pear. Like, you literally pushed me out of wanting this pear. Even if it looked delicious in the first place, now I don't want it because you guys are being all creepy about it.
I was going to say, I'd probably be Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if it's weird, yeah, I'd probably react the same way.
I don't know, maybe we'll do an experiment on you and not tell you about it.
You go ahead and do that. I will pass with shiny.
I don't know. I will fall to food.
I mean, I will too. But it's like, a pear.
Oh my god, this ice cream is delicious. You have to try it.
No, I don't know. The pear thing, I don't know. Maybe it was a poached pear with a side of like vanilla bean ice cream.
Right?
Yeah.
Cakes.
Something
like
Everyone's
that.
like, oh, these cupcakes are so delicious. These
Yeah.
tea cakes are so good. You must have one. I'm gonna have a tea cake.
I was gonna say, if it was like a cake, then I'm all up for that. But a pear,
not so much.
no, thank you.
Yeah.
But she then says
I'm
it's
weak over food.
But if it was like peer pressured, like in a weird way, then I might be suspicious. But I don't know, like what I would do. Like I'd be like, oh, but I really want cake. So I don't know. But she then thinks that it's like a strong perfume, like a smell comes over her, and it's a bit much. But she keeps eating until she finishes the pear. So remember, that detail of it becoming too much comes before she finishes eating. So she was stupid enough.
She already had her teeth in.
I mean, it was too late at that point.
Yeah,
but then she forced herself to finish the pear.
Right, yeah.
God. And this is where it becomes like a drug because she's all very loopy. She's tired. She's like...
Yeah.
Her whole body chemistry has changed, and she realized no one else is having this reaction to pears.
She's got some GHB in her.
What's that?
She's got a little GHBX in her.
Sure, I don't know what that is. I don't know much about drugs.
I think that's like a more potent version of GHB.
I don't know what that is.
It's a date rape drug.
Okay.
Right? GHB.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't, and it goes out of your system really quick, so it's very difficult to find.
And
oh, bastards!
Yeah, like that's pretty much what somebody would use if you were in a club and you're drinking your drink. And
Oh, I don't let anyone buy me drinks, and I spider claw.
You spider claw.
Spider claw
that shit.
I do, or I get a bottle and I stick my thumb in.
Ooh,
that's what I usually do.
There you go.
Tips.
Tip of the day.
Tips of the day. Avoid
stick your finger in all your drinks.
That nail polish, did you see that?
What nail polish? Oh, does it know when it's...
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a nail
that's
polish
great.
that's in a
Ladies,
Kickstarter.
tip.
Yeah, it's a... So it'll detect substances in your drink. It's a nail polish. You just go... Twink, and it'll change color.
I love it.
They got straws like that, too, now.
Straws? Oh, thank God.
That's probably a little bit more...
Practical?
Yeah, so you're not sticking your fingers in your drinks. Brittany, don't drink that drink.
You have the one designated fingernail polish where it sticks
yeah. Guys, I washed my hands, I promise.
10 max.
Oh my God.
Oh my Lord.
Let's get the toes involved.
Oh no.
I like food, but not that much.
Oh my God.
Oh. All right. So, it says that Belle feels, and it uses this word, and I wonder, like, because, like, 8 to 10-year-olds are reading this. It uses the word lassitude. I didn't even know what that meant. I looked it up. In case you're wondering, it means weariness, a lack of energy. I figured as much, but still, I didn't know.
A little plug for Kindle. Like I said, when I loaded this book up, it gave me something I'd never seen before because, I usually read adult books. I mean, okay, literally adult books, but also adult level books.
Right. I knew what you meant.
It came up with, like, a thing that I could also download where words that are a little bit outside of a 6th grader vocabulary would be highlighted, and I could click on it, and it wouldn't necessarily give me the definition, but it would give me maybe some synonyms or a sentence, so I can maybe read it in a different context and see if I understand that word better, which I thought was excellent.
Yeah, that is
for younger readers.
I feel like I don't read the Kindle that much, but I've heard that that's just like a normal thing. That, like, if you don't know...
No, because I've never had it come up on any other books, and I primarily read Kindle these days.
So maybe they don't highlight them but maybe if you don't recognize a word, you can click on it.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, you could definitely
that's
click on it.
not what I'm saying. It's a
Right,
different
okay,
thing. So
yeah.
when I'm reading a regular book on the Kindle, if I come across a word I don't know, I can touch it, and I can have dictionaries downloaded, even more than one.
Yeah.
That is an option. What I'm saying is, with this specific book, because it is a young adult book, when I downloaded it, it gave me another thing that I could put on top of it, which was not a definition, not necessarily. It gave you a chance to figure out the meaning of the word without getting the definition first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a learning thing versus,
That's good.
Here's the answer.
That's really good.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, that's neat. It's good that they did that.
I kind of wish I had chosen that just for the sake of having it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a great idea.
It is a great idea. And it's good for kids. So, works. And for adults. So, Belle finds she can't think straight, and she notes that it's so much easier for others to do the thinking for her.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting, because she's never really wanted that.
Yeah, she's not supposed to want that.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know if that's maybe like just the quote-unquote drug of the pair doing that to her, but it doesn't really make it clear. It's just kind of a one-off line.
And I don't like what, after seeing the Mad One, after seeing That Was a Lie, after seeing what comes next, after this, she's still like, oh, nevermore. I kind of like it here.
Yeah. After all the bad things that have happened. We're going to get to that. That's chapter 34.
All I know is Beast never drugged her.
That's true.
He might have captive her. Beast is all about consent.
But he's very loud and emotional and temperamental.
Said he wasn't
and apparently Belle likes being drugged.
She likes fixing people as well.
But I don't know. I'll take the temperamental over quiet but strange. I'm curious. Have some food.
I mean, but he... I mean, yeah, what would you take over the other? But they're still both bad. He's holding her captive.
Yeah, but he's also... She went in there willingly to save her father.
But not really. She gave up her life for her father. She didn't willingly want to be captive. It's not like she said, oh, I'm going to get captive today. Like,
well, yeah, I understand that. I do, and I'm not trying to, like, stir the pot. But when you give up your life from someone else, you know what that's entailing.
no, I get that, but it doesn't...
I prefer to be in the situation where I'm giving up a portion of my life versus having someone take away. The Countess is taking away versus Bella giving up. So that's why, not Bella, Belle giving up. So the Countess, with that line, she is taking away her choice in how to feel. And her choice, and like, everyone's forcing her to eat. Everyone's forcing her to stay captive in Nevermore. She is not...
Well, no one's forcing her.
Decision.
She's not making
well,
that
no
conscious...
one's forcing her. They're peer pressuring her.
The woods? Oh, yeah, peer pressure is force.
Not really. She did not have to do that. I don't think peer pressure is right, but she did not have to do that. People, like, I was peer pressured in school, like, to, like, do stuff, and I didn't do it. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
But it's a different type of choice. You know, like, she's like, I'm taking my father's place. That is my decision. Because she could have just walked out.
Yeah, but...
She could have. Her father said, don't. She's like, I'm here. I'm taking it. You know? They're like, the woods are trying to hold her there. She can't get through the book as easily because it's like going through porridge. She's been drugged. All these things are not her choice.
But she chose to eat that stupid pear after being warned by like a million gajillion people.
Yeah.
And I also think that she is being, if she tried to get away, we already know she tried to get away from the castle and she was stopped by wolves. Like, there are things that are keeping her there too. She couldn't have just walked out. Her father would have died. Like, I'm not saying, I do think it's better with the beast. Like, I'm not saying
it's
that.
consent under duress with her father. Really?
Yeah. Well, if
it's
it was
kind of like, come
if
and
it came
have
down
sex with me or I'm gonna kill your brother.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna. Actually, no. Go ahead. I don't like him that much anyway.
So if we're talking about what situation you'd rather be in, I'd rather be in the castle.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
Yes, Chris.
Huh? What? Oh, I've never had to threaten her brother.
Oh, okay.
The Countess takes Belle to rest before Belle is reminded of Chip's birthday dinner.
Lie down after you eat my date rape drug.
Oh, God.
Oh, my date rape pear.
Yeah, date rape pear, true.
A little nap before dinner sounds just like the thing.
Can you tell her about the theory or what you want to happen between Belle and the Countess? Like what you're reading into it?
They are definitely lesbians together. 100%.
Just
okay.
the things they say.
So,
yeah.
the Countess is always like brushing her hair behind her ear. She placed that kiss on her forehead, and then she like ran away. And she's like, "You can stay here for as long as you want.
You don't.
I made you this world." Like,
yeah, but you don't think it's more like of a motherly like stand-in?
Well, we sort of thought that, but then
I don't think so. Definitely lesbian.
It's just the way
I don't think Belle responds though. He's like, "What did I miss? I literally just walked out for a second."
Oh no, she's not recuperating, but like she's setting it out.
Because I didn't pick up on it, but
recuperating or reciprocating?
Reciprocating, sorry.
Oh,
I'm like, what is she recuperating from? What happened? What did I miss?
Words are hard.
Words are hard.
Indeed, they are. That's why we're podcasting.
I'm not writing.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, Danielle here, interrupting the show for a brief message from our sponsor, Audible.com. I'm certain that most of you listening are no strangers to Audible, being that they are the leader in online audiobook distribution. With over 180,000 titles to choose from, it is no wonder they dominate the industry. And today, Audible is sponsoring our show by giving you a free 30-day trial plus a free audiobook of your choice. Pretty neat, right? All you need to do is visit audibletrial.com/BaBaT to receive your free trial and an audiobook. Again, that is audibletrial.com/BaBaT. Not sure what book you want to listen to? Might I recommend a title from my own Audible library? My audiobook recommendation for the episode is Where Am I Now by Mara Wilson. You may recognize the name of the author as the famous actress from films such as Matilda and Mrs. Doubtfire. Now she is back to reflect on her experiences growing up and where life has taken her since she left acting behind. If you want to listen to my recommendation or any of the other 180,000 titles on Audible, visit audibletrial.com/BaBaT for your free 30-day trial as well as an audiobook of your choice. That's audibletrial.com/BaBaT. Now, let's get back to discussing Lost in a Book. Yes.
And what you're reading this section about dinner. Read that again.
Yeah.
A little nap before dinner sounds just the thing.
Yes. So.
Oh, but that reminds Belle of dinner for birthday.
But seriously though, they just ate a pear. Now there's more food coming.
I know. And so Belle snaps out of her whatever it was, because like so easily did she go into it. Now she just can get out of it like that.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Mm-hmm. The bitch just likes to eat.
Fair
There's a
enough.
party back at the castle for Chip's birthday. Maybe there'll be cake.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
My glasses for
Okay.
Oh, wait. It looks like it's missing something.
No, it's... Well... Oh, it cut off.
Yeah, it cut off.
No, but we got it all. It cut off a little, but we have it all there.
But what does it say?
It says almost reunited, and it feels like bitter resentment.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. If you can't read that image, says, I fear to never see my father again, sob, sob. I found these on like a website. It was like a storyboard website where somebody actually storyboarded this book. But I couldn't see all of it. I thought if
really?
I
couldn't see it through the watermark?
It wasn't there when it wouldn't let me save it, and I downloaded it, and then this was on there. So I was like, oh well. I guess I could have
screenshot.
Yeah, I should have. I should have screenshotted it, but you know.
I should have screenshot it.
Should have, but didn't.
Is it screenshotted or screenshot?
Screenshot.
I mean, I think it could be either, but screenshot.
I say screenshot.
I think, I agree. I think it's just screenshot.
Can you print screen that?
Print screen. What's that?
I said I think the past tense of that would be screenshot, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, I think it would still be screenshot. Yeah, I don't think it's screenshotted.
Yeah, screenshotted. I don't think it would be a bad thing if somebody said that, but
Anyway.
Chapter
33.
So Belle explains to the Countess that she must leave right away. And the Countess just, doesn't understand.
She's obsessive, like a boyfriend.
that
has an independent woman.
Yeah, she's like, you can't return to the castle, because she says, why would you want to go to a birthday party for a teacup? Am I right?
Yeah, but then she
for a piece of porcelain.
Yeah. Then she says, when you can be here with your true friends.
Right.
And here's my take. At this point, wouldn't Belle be like, okay, well, yeah, there might be animated furniture, well, whatever, but you're not real.
Right.
Yes.
How are you truer friends than they are? They're magical. You're magical.
Well, how does she know that? Because remember...
Yeah, are all these people figments of the story, and is only the Countess real, or are they all real? Or
And does the Countess exist outside of this? Belle doesn't
but the
know.
Countess already told her that she created this world for her.
Yeah, so
and
they must all be fake.
Yeah, and she has already admitted that it's not real.
But Belle's dumb.
It's whatever Belle wants that she'll make it for her. So it's not like she's really going to go to Italy. It's going to be part of the story, and Belle can leave her reality behind and be in the story. So then at this point, it's like, okay, well, you're not even reality. At least they're reality. They're not the greatest reality ever, but
it's an actual teacup.
An actual teacup that talks and is my friend versus you, who are literally made up. So
yeah, and it's
these true friends are made up, is what I mean.
Oh God, it's so hard.
So at this point, I'll be like, true friends, really? You're not even real.
I knew you for 2 days.
Yeah.
Well, again, Belle's dumb. We've established this.
And poor little Chip.
I know, it's his birthday.
Just for a piece of porcelain? Excuse you.
How dare you?
He's a child.
He's a great porcelain.
He might be cracked.
Are we sure it's porcelain, though? I mean, it could be something else.
Oh, yeah.
I think they say it because Mrs. Potts cracks at one point.
Oh, yeah. She said her porcelain smile cracked or whatever.
Yeah, so sad. So Belle is surprised.
How does the Countess know, though?
I don't know.
Yeah, good question.
But isn't all china made of porcelain? Like good china?
But Belle doesn't tell her.
But how does she know that Chip is...
Oh.
Well, she knows her name. When she first gets there, she calls her by her name and...
Oh, she says she knows everything about her?
Yeah.
But that alone is just creepy itself. Either way. So Belle is surprised by the Countess's anger at the fact that she wants to go home. Or not home, but, back to the castle. And the Countess explains that she just hates to see a young woman constrained so much.
Even though she's trying to prevent her from doing what she wants.
Yeah. And then she, she's so teasing Belle. She's like, and then an old friend, and then she cuts off. And Belle's just like, oh my God,
but not just an old friend, in dire.
Did anyone else feel that section so clunky? I did not understand what that part was supposed to be.
That's the Countess not wanting Belle to leave.
Well, yeah, I know, but the way she was saying it, I cannot bear to see a young woman constrained so, or her dear, or an old friend in dire. I'm reading that, it was just so, I don't get it.
Yeah, it was clunky. It was just poorly written.
Yeah. It didn't make much sense until later. It wasn't, alluding to anything. It felt like filler words, because the author needed to get the point across that the Countess is promising Belle to bring her father into this world. And so
that's
the
true.
Only way that she could do it is be like, oh, maybe make her pretend to flub on a word or two. Because even if you take out, I can't bear to see a young woman constrained so, or an old friend in dire. They don't connect.
Yeah.
Those two sentences
don't
connect.
see what you're... Yeah, I agree. It's weird. I think she was going to say an old friend in dire need, maybe. Yeah. But just the way it cuts it off, it's very
She cut
weird.
it off to get Belle to wonder about it.
It's just awkward. But yeah, I know why she did it. And it makes sense. It's just awkward.
Yeah, it's awkward. To me, it felt like a disconnect. It felt like a sentence thrown in there to just bring it back to the main plot of this chapter, which is to bring Belle's father into Nevermore.
Yeah, that's true.
So I had an issue with that.
Yeah, and like you said, she says, like, she later explains that, you know, they're gonna bring, or she says she saw Belle's father yesterday, which I'm thinking, like, bitch, how did you see him? Like, did you leave the book? Is he in the book?
Mm-hmm.
Explain this. And Belle just doesn't ask these questions. Belle's just like, okay.
Yeah.
You saw my father?
How is he?
Yeah, like...
Yeah.
And, she says that he's slower, confused at times, due to sorrow and guilt.
Also, if Belle and her... if Belle's father and the Countess have been such good friends for so long that she is going to visit him, like, on the reg, now that he's old and, like, sickly.
It's not what on the reg means. What?
What?
On the regular.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about. But, how has her father never mentioned this woman before?
Right.
Never.
Embarrassed.
For what?
I don't know. I haven't read the book.
Well, you know what? Actually, wait a second. That's interesting, even though... Okay, so in the new live-action adaptation, the father will not tell her how her mother died. Like, that's a huge plot point. And then when you learn she died from the plague, I'm like, so you couldn't tell your daughter that her mom died from the plague. Well, it was too hard for him. So he couldn't tell her that her mother died from the plague. So maybe, I don't want to excuse this book, but maybe he wouldn't have told her about, like, maybe that's why Belle's thinking that.
What if this woman, let's say, like, this is for real, and what if this woman was really, really close to him and the wife, and then the wife dies, and then he can't bear to spend any time with her or include her in his current life because it's too painful to have her around because she reminds him of the wife that he lost. So he basically cut her out.
Yeah, but
People
why
do that.
is she checking? But she knows everything about Belle's situation. You know, about being Belle's father being captured by the beast. Now Belle is being held by the beast, and now Maurice is getting sick, and Maurice is forgetting. So I don't know. I just don't feel like that they were actually good friends.
I agree with you. I just brought up that point just because I think it's stupid in the movie. I think it's stupid now.
Yeah, I like your point. I like Tatyana's point too. It just, I don't know. It to me, it just feels like
I get what you're saying, because that does make sense. Like, somebody would shut somebody out of their life if
after
something happened.
Dramatic like that.
But I don't think we should give this book that much credit, right? Let's just be real here.
Yeah, I understand that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I totally get that, and if it was a different book, I'd probably be totally on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think this book quite understands that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just awkward. So Belle becomes anxious, and the Countess soothes her by explaining that she will bring Maurice to Nevermore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! And that's how the chapter ends. So on.
Did she kiss her again? Let's find out.
Yeah, find out. Yeah.
Well, you're really all about this
I am.
angle.
I am. I'm gonna ship this hard.
I'm shipping it too. I didn't see it when I first.
Cray.
Okay, I didn't notice it when I read it, but now Brittany has changed my
seeing
life.
I
Brittany?
can't stop seeing it.
All right, here's my favorite one.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
I made this
I'm
online.
so proud of you.
Talking bugs, aggressive plant life, and mad woman with weapons. Let's live here forever.
That's funny. That's the plot summary.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Castle fam.
Meme.
Castle fam. Love that.
I love it.
Oh
my gosh. I have so much fun making that.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of me too.
So do you want to read the
Yes.
chapter summary?
So, chapter 34. What?
Do you get it now?
You get the meme?
I was talking about a different version of this same photo that I seen. Of like
Nothing.
I'm not. Yeah. I'm not.
It's just
Fair enough.
Version.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough.
All right, chapter 34, summary in one sentence. Talking bugs, aggressive plant life, and mad woman with weapons. Let's live here forever. Mm-hmm. Woohoo. So, Belle is surprised that the Countess could bring her father to Nevermore. Mm-hmm. The Countess says it will be difficult, that it was easy to get Belle in the book. Oh, this is the part you were talking about, due to the magic in the castle.
Yeah.
I'm calling BS Countess, but whatever. Belle's dumb, so she doesn't. And she says there ain't no magic in Belle's village. So that's that.
Oh.
Yeah. So she said it would be harder.
Yeah. So, what? She would have to get Maurice to the castle, then up the stairs into the library, into the book, into Nevermore?
Well, no, because she's saying the whole town. She's thinking of the whole town.
They don't have magic?
They don't have magic there.
But for Maurice to get into the Nevermore, would Belle have to go get him?
See, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah.
He just couldn't go in there in the village. He would have to come where there's more magic.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't know.
Yeah, unless the Countess goes and gets him.
Right. Which she is implying that she can do.
How does she get into the book?
She walks through it.
How does the Countess get into the book?
It's her book. It's her world.
But how does she get there?
She's already there. It's a portal to her world. It's not really a book. It's a portal to her world.
Okay.
To Underworld.
So she...
Underworld? It's not Underworld?
No, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm always right.
Are you telling stuff that happens later on?
What? No. I don't, nothing. I have no idea because I'm so confused and she's whispering at me and I can't tell what she's trying to tell me.
That's good. That was a good explanation. That's enough now.
Okay.
Just go like this. This is like...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Come on, you cut that shit out.
Yeah, right.
Come on now.
Oh, yeah. That just makes me think of this one guy I know who always goes like this. And I'm like, what the hell?
What are you talking about?
Remember I told you about that guy?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I don't know why, but
Danielle waved her pinky around.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't make sense. I can
keep
cut that
going
out.
because there's cupping of the cheeks coming on.
Oh, see?
Oh, whoa!
See?
That's not exactly what I get, what gets my blood going, but...
It wasn't for me either, but let me tell you, Brittany has changed my life, I'm telling you.
I'm more of a smack a cheek kind of gal.
Oh, Belle.
She didn't mean those cheeks.
Oh, wow.
No, I meant those cheeks too.
Oh, you did?
Opportunity cheekster.
All right, okay, well, ow. I just hit myself in the face.
I'm such an inappropriate guest.
So funny.
All right. So, the Countess explains to Belle, or that Belle and her father could stay in Nevermore forever.
With her.
Yes.
And Belle, once again, responds that it's not real. Because she knows that much.
She starts to get there. We were talking about that she takes a step forward, and then she takes 5 steps backward.
Yeah.
So she knows, but she doesn't act on it. So she's like, well, it's not real, so I don't know, but I'm just going to go back tomorrow. It's like a drug. It is, So, where's the part where she cups her cheeks?
Oh.
Because I don't have
it. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
I'm looking for it now. Oh. When she says that even if Nevermore could become a reality, I still couldn't stay here forever. I exchanged my freedom for my father's. What's done cannot be undone. And that's when the Countess cups Belle's cheek. Which cheek? It doesn't say which cheek.
Exactly.
It could be the other cheek.
Oh, no.
We
need to know.
We're so...
Do not be so certain, child, she said. I have undone much in my time, and many. She's undone clothing. She's undone clothing. She's undone many a woman.
Oh, my God.
I cannot. I'm not going to even get involved. I will turn this. I will take this down a rabbit hole. No one will ever be able to come back out of it, and I'll never be invited back.
When you cup my chick, baby, you undo me.
See, look, she's undone
but
many
he has
things.
my consent.
Yes.
He doesn't have to drug me.
The Countess, she doesn't care. Yeah.
Creepy drugged pears that are not really pears.
Or pomegranates.
I was trying to think of a cool pun to say, but I can't think of one.
Usually just gives me rosemary gimlets.
What's a rosemary?
Yeah, what's that?
Gimlet?
It's an alcoholic beverage.
Oh, that sounds delicious then.
It is just actually delicious.
I really like rosemary.
We got the recipe from the bartender yesterday.
Yeah.
And then he cupped my cheek.
Not
the
Did you
bartender.
become undone?
Not the bartender.
So funny.
All right, back to Belle.
So, Bouchard drops Belle off near the exit, but this time without a candle.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Can we just talk about this one sentence one more after
Sure.
she cupped Belle's cheek?
Okay, yeah, let's keep going.
She goes, I've undone much in my time, and many. The fierceness in her voice, and it chilled Belle. I was like, whoa, that was an aggressive, thing to say. It's the next sentence. Okay, anyways, go on.
Well, she is pretty aggressive. It's this new side of her that Belle's seeing. For the first time.
It gets her going.
So, yeah, Belle leaves with Bouchard, and he drops her off, but he doesn't give her a candle to guide her. So,
Or it doesn't really get her that close to the doorway.
yeah, well, they never drop her off where she needs to be. They always
No.
drop her off, by the trees, but they're always blocking her way. If I were Belle, I'd be like, hey, can you just go a little further? Just a little.
Yeah.
Well, the portal's a
You're
little
supposed
off
to be
the
my friend,
drive.
remember? My true friend.
Yeah.
Lend me a horsey.
Mm-hmm.
A horsey.
Yeah, so the trees have grown higher and have formed narrow, maze-like passageways. Belle starts to run to try to get out of there, and she trips over a tree root.
I would like to point out that the description of the trees growing taller and more maze-like, this is where I could envision someone disappearing like in the morning
Yes.
mist versus a pretty open orchard.
Yeah, very true.
I really like this part because it's showing that the magic of Nevermore is fading at the edges.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like she trips over the tree root and she vine of thorns wraps around her ankle. It
Is
tears
really
her dress.
fading, or is it just keeping her from leaving?
It's not fading, it's keeping...
Is it keeping her from leaving?
Yeah, because it's all fine farther away from the doorway, but the closer she tries to get to the doorway, it gets more difficult for her to get to the doorway.
Yeah.
And even then, the consistency of the portal itself gets harder for her to move through.
That's true.
So it's more like the longer she spends in Nevermore, the harder it is for her to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I thought it would have been... I also interpreted it as her magic wearing thin because... the pomegranates, Belle was able to see them real, even though love was there.
Only because the Mad Woman showed her.
Yes, but
And
also
the second she was gone, they look like pears to her again.
Yeah, but in a previous chapter when she's trying to leave as well, she saw the monsters in the woods.
Well, maybe they're performing for death.
Yeah, but they're there to scare her off from leaving.
Well, that's true. Go back into the safety of the light.
And that's why they don't even drop her off that close to it. Every time it's worse and worse.
Yeah. Okay. I accept that.
You'd think
I'm going to attempt not to say any more since I accidentally read ahead.
Both of you have, so...
Ooh, you too?
I'm finished.
Oh, you rebel.
I know. Well, I wanted to finish it this month. I didn't want to keep going.
This month isn't over yet.
I know, but I'm done. That's all that matters.
Well, I am going to stay true to this podcast.
Look at all these notes. You think I'm not true to this? So the exit... Oh, yeah, so the exit in the book reminds Belle of an ice pond, not fully solid or liquid. Thought that was a nice little detail.
Good imagery.
And then
Belle...
Belle...
and it kind of goes back to her and the beast ice
skating.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Aw, so cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
What a great date.
I know. What a great date, skating, talking about something. God knows what. And then Belle, I guess she gets inside... And she reflects on Nevermore trying to keep her, and how she really wanted to stay.
Yeah, Nevermore wants me, she whispered. Lies. It's the Countess.
Yeah,
Nevermore wants me, she whispered aloud. It wants me to stay. The thought scared her.
But
what scared her even more, was how much she wanted Nevermore / the Countess. So,
But here's the thing: if you're in a world that works so hard to scare the living shit out of you every time you try to leave it, works so hard to make it difficult for you to leave it, don't you fucking wonder, like, maybe it's not the best place for me?
You would think.
But there's people there, and she hasn't seen a human face
if you
for
go
so
over
long.
a new friend's house, okay, and you're like, I really like hanging out here. He's got all my favorite video games, and he's got a great, like, entertainment system. And
He gives me drugged pear.
I don't know why I looked at you, baby. Don't worry. And lots of guest rooms. I can, like, pretty much hang out anywhere. There's amazing food and cupcakes or whatever, right? But every time I try to, like, leave his house, there's an extra lock on the door, and I have to work so hard to pick every single one of them. And there's, like, desks in front of the, like, I have to crawl over furniture. I have to find a window to escape out of. I mean, at what point do you say to yourself, maybe this just that's not the best place for me to hang out. I should go find a better friend.
Yeah. She's just dumb.
We all agree.
Yeah.
Nevermore he wants me to stay there because every time I try to leave, there's monsters after me. But I really want to go back.
Yeah.
Well, there's Henry.
Henry's
Henry.
And there's the countess. I swear she's going back for the countess. And the promise of her father now, though.
Well, she's going back. Henry,
That's
because
true, the father
he's
thing.
A man that is sharing his feelings with her.
Oh, yeah.
Because we all want to know what men feel.
Mm-hmm.
Which is bullshit.
Men aren't that hard to figure out, in my opinion. Because a lot of times they just have nothing. When I ask my husband what he's thinking, he goes, literally nothing.
No, they literally don't.
They
Sometimes
literally
they
just
have
sit
no
there.
thoughts, and it's okay.
Oh, come on. Everybody goes through that.
No, everyone. Yeah, no, it's true. If I say I'm not thinking of anything, like literally my head at that moment is a void.
Yeah.
I might be just concentrating on like, oh, that's an interesting photo. Okay.
I've
And then it just
never
stops.
had that happen to me.
Neither.
Me neither.
I've
I'm full
never
of
blanked
thoughts.
out like that.
Yeah, never.
Have you seen those things like at the puzzle store or whatever where you can like hook up, you put the thing on your head and then depending on who's got more brain activity, it starts like bringing the ball towards
Oh,
them.
really?
Yeah,
I've
I
never
win
seen
that.
that.
I win that all the time because I can literally clear my head. It's like, okay,
Wow.
you know, just go ahead. Yeah, you know the monkey that always is yelling at you in the back of your head all the time, like do
Yeah.
this, do that, whatever. I can shut him up for brief periods of time, just like.
Huh.
I have to use white noise.
I can't make it stop.
No.
Is that why women go insane?
Yes.
And
Yes.
then drown their children?
Okay, well, that's a little far.
Is that why women go hysterical?
Yeah, once a month
Well,
at least.
Once a
Apparently,
month.
the
Yeah.
hysteria thing has to do with just not enough orgasms. But
Yes. Solid.
I will say that we're a little bit more. What? I don't have that problem, but
No, you
I
don't.
feel like in general we have more thoughts in our head because we're like worrying about everything.
Look, I'll agree with you there because I think a lot of women that's put upon them.
My
But
dad explained
I don't
it
know.
this way: women see big picture, men see detail. So
I
that's
don't know. I think men are capable of seeing big
I
picture.
think everybody's different and we can't make assumptions.
that's true. That's very true.
Okay, once you categorize, people, it's over. Like your categorization is completely false at that point.
Yeah.
My problem with this is that she has an issue with Beast because he won't share his feelings. He's your fucking captor. Why do you even want to have his feelings shared
Yes.
with you? Like, I'd be like, listen, you gave me a library. That's awesome. Like, that's where I'm going to spend my time. I'm not going to have dinner with you. I'm going to have dinner in my library.
And she was
And
excited
there's like a
at
million
first.
gajillion books in this library. I'll be set. What is the time frame of this thing? Because to me, it doesn't seem like she's been captive long enough
Yes.
to go this insane.
You know what that
Yes.
makes me think
It's
of?
like, what, a month?
You know
Are you
that-
kidding me?
you know that
I'll
makes-
just be like, not even through like the first portion of the library. I'll be like,
I wouldn't even see
I
all the
need
rooms in
some
the
more
castle.
Right,
tea.
exactly.
Yeah, I would go
How
exploring.
old is she again?
She's like 20.
18,
-ish.
20-ish.
Yeah.
Well, so then, that you don't have as much now. A month wouldn't let you go insane, but back then you'd be like, oh my
She
god.
had so much shit to do though. She's a whole library. That's all what her life is about. Books.
And she loves reading.
Yeah,
Like,
and
why wouldn't she?
She's already wants to escape. She hasn't been there long enough, and it's not like she's cooped up in one room. She has the run of the castle. There's so much to
Just
explore.
the West Wing. That's
She
the
can
only thing.
talk to
Yeah.
a bunch of people or animated things.
They're
like the
people
chamber pot.
still. But yeah.
And she can go outside. she
The
can
chamber
go.
pot.
She can go and ride horses. There's a lot she
Feed
can
the
do.
chickens.
Feed the chickens.
Yeah.
Go ice
As
skating.
captives go, she's got a pretty good.
I
She's got a
know.
pretty good life, and like a month later,
I
she's all
love
like,
your mustache.
"Oh God."
Just whipped it out.
Yeah, I needed it. Sorry.
No, you know what that...
It drives me crazy. And this whole entire thing, she likes Henry because he shares his feelings. And I'm like, I have never met a man who, like, on the third date I've had or the third meeting of this person, I'm just like, tell me everything. That's how I'm going to know that we're meant to be.
Yeah. It's almost like a fantasy. I mean, it is a fantasy, but it's like a female fantasy, like that they hope he opens up to her. Like,
but it's not like, here's the thing though, it's not like he doesn't open up to her. He doesn't want to talk about certain things, and she's like constantly being fucking pushy. Like, if obviously that's a touchy subject, why don't you just move on and talk about something else? He has no issue sitting down at dinner with her and talking about things in general.
That's true.
Why doesn't she ask about what the hell she's doing in the office? And he'll be like, oh, I'm translating this Greek text. And she'll be like, oh, well, what is it? Tell me more about this. She doesn't do that. She's all just like, what is this pain that you're hiding from me? What is about this rose?
Yeah.
What is about this? Like, she's so naggy. And you just want to like slap her.
We were
She's
talking
the
about
naggiest female I've ever met.
Well, you know what this makes me think of?
And she's selfish.
She's very selfish.
Tell me about your secrets. I'm not going to ask you about what you're doing in your office, but tell me everything you don't want to talk about.
Tell me about your traumatic childhood.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, it's.
And if you
that's
don't, I'm going to choose this not reality-based Henry, who just tells me about how hard it is
And
to
drugs
hang
me.
out with intellectuals. Good thing I'm a dumb fuck.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
No, you know that episode of Broad.
Okay.
Let me rein this in.
No.
Let me rein
But
this
you're
in.
right. You're right, though.
Everything about that was
You're
accurate.
used to this. You hear this.
am, and I
You
just
hear
love
this
it.
type of ranting every time I drive.
Anyway, well, I was gonna tell you what you said about her being captive and like getting bored so easily. It made me think of Broad City that we just watched with
You're
when she
right.
falls into the pit. And she's
She's-
like,
okay, I'm sorry, but she smoked a lot of pot.
I know.
Like, there was a lot of marijuana up
Yeah.
in that pit.
She's like there for like maybe 20, 30 minutes.
It was
She's
20
like-
minutes.
She's like creating. She's like
she
acting
smoked
like.
so much, though.
Yeah.
Come on, you can't compare.
That's but I know, but it just
I mean,
made
actually,
me think of that.
for all we know, Belle is.
Well, she had the pair, so you know,
closet,
kind
yeah.
of the same
Why
thing.
didn't she take Pears back with her?
Well,
Wait, what? Has she gone back?
yeah, she's back in the castle
She
now.
grabbed the
back in
parents
the
to
castle.
go.
Yeah, now she is.
Oh, okay.
You
She
sucked the
just
whole
made it
thing.
back.
There's
I
a
wasn't sleepy.
there's a party for Chip that she has to go back for.
Of course, right?
Obligations.
Yeah,
you know,
obligations.
to porcelain
Priorities.
plants.
Priorities, you know.
Priorities to porcelains.
Yeah.
Aren't chamber pots
Pals.
also made of porcelain?
I mean,
I think so.
maybe.
yeah.
Or tin, I
Which
think.
things?
Tin, probably.
Which things?
Chamber pots.
Chamber pots.
Oh, I think mostly metal because it's light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to weigh down.
It's already going to be weighed down enough by everything else that's going in it.
Yeah.
Unless it's hard to talk.
I would think. No, I'm not gonna say that.
Like, this is a real, like, guys, this is a serious conversation.
Okay, then I'm gonna say what I was
Excuse
gonna
me. You need to eat more vegetables.
You've had, you've had asparagus
imagine?
tonight.
Oh God.
Well, it's only if the chamber pot has the particular gene that lets you smell that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
apparently that everybody has their particular gene.
Yeah.
So chapters. What were these chapters?
30 to 34. That's the next
Next.
chapters.
All right, people, come down.
30 through 34. I liked these chapters. I think we are advancing a lot further from what we started with because the plot is actually thickening.
Is it thickening?
I think so.
Like one of those. What did she
Like
say?
I think it's just like dripping, like kind of dripping down.
It's awful.
Wow.
Stop.
No, come
Countess,
on.
cup
Like,
your cheek.
yeah. Wow.
So how do you feel about these chapters?
You know, look, like you said, there's more.
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking if you put it down, I'm going to speed read these chapters so I can have something to say.
You already had a lot to say.
I had to control myself because I didn't know what I was talking about.
No, you did well.
Yeah, it did well.
Go ahead, Danielle.
You know, I didn't like them. But I appreciate them for doing, you know, moving the story forward. At least we're getting something in
Yes.
Nevermore. But did I like it? No, I thought most of it was dumb.
I like that she used a lot better imagery in these chapters than the other ones.
Yeah.
You could imagine.
I can imagine
losing
dragons.
other people in an orchard.
Yes. Yes, I could.
Why couldn't she just be like,
disappearing like
here's
morning
my
mist?
awesome
Good.
cornfield. I grew it from...
Oh, her star cornfield.
Yeah, why couldn't
Award-winning
it be like-
corn.
yeah.
And that would have been really
Or a
creepy
wheat
too.
Field. Yes.
What else?
What
grows
other?
as
Yeah, what
high?
other fields have?
I was gonna say lavender, but that doesn't grow very high.
No, there are lavender trees, and they do get bushy. So,
Lavender.
or lavender bushes actually can get big.
Yeah,
so-
I've only saw them tiny.
That's what I thought when I got my mother a lavender bush. But guess what? It turned out to be a tree.
Oh, good.
It is gigantic. I actually tried to trim it down. I ended up having to get an electric saw. The tree fought back. I have a
I was
scar.
gonna say, you sound like you're traumatized.
The tree fought back. I have a scar. The tree's back to its original height
No.
and width.
Oh.
And I do have a scar. I will never play with that tree again.
Oh no.
It
Yeah,
laughs
it's-
at you.
What?
It's laughing at you. But
It is laughing at me. Every time I'm outside, it looks like it's laughing at me.
Still mopping Willow.
Yeah. Where's my scar? Let me see.
But yeah, so you're not as impressed with it,
I'm gonna have to get undressed.
Danielle?
No, not really.
So next
Yes.
episode, we'll be covering chapters 35 through 39.
Mm-hmm. And if you would like to find us on social media, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Goodreads. On Facebook, we have a group and we have a page and a group.
Yes.
So you can chat with us in our group. That would be a fun time. Further.
Yeah, to further discussion.
Yeah. And where can we listen? Well, we can listen on iTunes,
Google Play,
Stitcher,
Spotify,
maybe,
And a website. Oh, sorry.
and a website. Yeah,
And a
go
website.
ahead.
Yeah, Chris. Do you know what the website is, Chris?
It's
BaBaTpodcast.com.
Yeah.
oh, is that the one? Oh yes.
Say it again more confidently.
BaBaTpodcast.com. bitch.
Yeah.
Ooh. Applause.
Applause everywhere.
You look confused, baby.
I'm not confused. I was actually visualizing something, and I was thinking about how Twilight should have ended. It was that picture where they see what's her, the two of them sitting down, and Blade is standing right behind them.
That's pretty funny.
It's actually pretty. Yeah.
Or Buffy. But yeah,
Buffy, yeah.
if you like what you're listening to, hit review us on iTunes. That's the best place to review us on, because it really gets people to see our podcast, get to know who we are, what we're doing.
I'm gonna review.
Thank you.
Yay.
Also, you feel free to send us an email. Tell us how we're doing. Let us know where you think we can improve, what you like, what you don't like. We're doing this for you and ourselves, but mostly for you, so we can all build a community of readers.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us, and we'll talk back.
Indeed, yes. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Okay.
Listeners?
Yeah, community of listeners.
Ooh, and listeners, yeah. Nice.
There we go. So,
Finn.
the end.
The end.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.